Hi. So in this example, I'm going to take our mortgage comparison and improve it a little bit by making it a little more flexible using some additional mixed addressing, and then also I'm going to add some calculations to determine the total amount of interest that we're paying for the different types of loans. So I'm going to make a copy of this sheet, and you just do that by selecting duplicate. So now I've got a copy of this mortgage comparison, and I'm going to call this mortgage interest comparison. Okay, so this is a copy of my previous sheet, and I'm going to add it, I'm going to improve it in a couple of ways. I'm going to add some rows here, add a couple of rows, and I would like to be able to isolate my assumptions based on the length of the mortgage. So I'm going to call this payment schedule number 1. And so that would be, for example, my 30-year mortgage, and then I'm going to have payment schedule number 2 here, and that would, number 2, and that would, for example, be my 15-year mortgage. So I would like to be able to modify those so that, for example, I would compare a 20-year mortgage to a 10-year mortgage or something like that. So in order to do that, I'm also going to insert another row here. In order to do that, instead of having 30 years be text in my spreadsheet, what I would like is I would like for that to be a numeric value that I can reference in my formula. So I'm going to change this so that instead of having the text 30 years, I'm going to actually refer to this payment schedule up here. So this C3. And then likewise, I'm going to do the same thing here with a 15. I'm going to refer to it. And then I'm just going to put the word years in here, and we'll format that in a minute. So now I can update. I'm fine with my interest column. That's referring back to the starting interest and just adding 1% as we go down the column. So that's fine. I'm going to change my payment formula though here so that, and in fact, I'm just going to delete these and I'll show you. Oop. Didn't mean to do that. Delete these. And I'll re-enter the payment formula here using the mixed addressing. So now what I want to do is I want to calculate the payment for the interest rate, and again I want to fix the column, so I'm referring to column A. So I want the column to be fixed, divided by 12 because it's the monthly interest rate, and then I want to refer to the term of the loan up here, the years, times 12. But in this case, I'm again going to use mixed addressing. I'm going to use my F4. What I want is for the row to be fixed so that when I copy it down the column, it'll be correct. I'm going to multiply by 12. And then I'm still going to use absolute addressing for the amount borrowed. And then I'm going to hit enter. So I've got mixed addressing here. Okay, so my payment is the same, but the advantage here is that I can copy this not only down the column and get the correct payments, but I can copy it down the row. I'm not sure what happened here. Let me copy that. Okay. Oh, when I moved that cell, that messed that up. So let me fix that. Okay. So when you move a cell versus copying it, Google Sheets updates the formula so that it's referring to the cell that you moved that value to. So that's why that formula got messed up. So now I know the difference in my payments at 30 and 15 years, and I can easily change not only the starting interest rate and the amount of the loan. So I can say, $250,000 if I want to, my starting interest could be 3.5%, and that updates everything. And then I could, for example, compare a 20-year mortgage to a 10-year mortgage, and everything automatically updates just by modifying these assumptions that I've isolated here at the top of my worksheet. So now the other thing that I would like to know here is how much total interest am I paying depending on the length of the loan. So I'm going to add another little table over here, total interest paid. And that is, again, I'm going to compare the 20-year and the 10-year mortgages, or whatever I change those to. And I want this to say years and years still. And then, years, difference. So what I want to know is how much interest am I paying on the life of the loan? Well, so I know that the payment for a 20-year mortgage at 3.5% is $1449.90, and I'm paying that over 20 years. And so the way I determine the total amount of interest that I pay is I calculate the total of all of the payments, how much am I paying, and I subtract the amount borrowed, because everything above the amount borrowed is the interest. So here I'll just put this is equal to B11 times the term, the total number of payments. So again, I want this to be flexible, and I'm going to use the mixed addressing so that I'm referring back to that row so that I can copy this over. All right, times 12, because we make 12 payments a year. So I'm calculating the total amount that we pay over the life of the loan minus the amount that we borrowed. And again, absolute addressing here. So that tells me I'm taking the total payments minus the amount borrowed, and that tells me how much interest I paid over the life of the loan. And if I copy this down the column, I can see how as the interest rate goes up, I'm paying a lot more interest. However, if I finance it over a shorter period of time, I pay a lot less interest over the life of the loan because I'm making far fewer payments. And then to calculate the difference in the amount of interest for the two different loans, I would subtract the interest paid at 20 years. I would subtract the 10-year amount from that. And then here I see that see the difference in the amount of interest that I would pay for the different terms. And again, can easily change this to a 30-year mortgage versus a 15-year mortgage. And so that allows us to compare how much interest we would pay over the life of the loan. These values might look better if they were rounded off the decimal places, so I'm going to decrease the decimal places here just to make it a little easier to read. And we could format it and make it look nice, but this is the basic idea of comparing the interest on different loans at different interest rates.